Happy Monday, everybody. How are you guys? This morning we are going to start our last unit on our last theme in our habitats unit. So this week we're going to do deserts. This book is called Deserts by Gail Gibbons, and it's very long and there's a lot of words. I am going to skip around a little bit. I'm not going to read every single page to you. Okay? So this is called Deserts by Gail Gibbons, and this is some of the plants and animals that live in the desert. Dry ground, bright sunshine. It is hot and the sky is clear. It is daytime on the desert. A desert is a place that is very dry. In most deserts, it rains less than 10 inches a year. So see how dry this is? There's no grass because there's not enough rainwater. It doesn't rain enough. And it's so hot. The sun is out almost all the time. So it's too hot. There's not enough shade. There's not enough resources for the grass to grow. So this is all sand. Deserts can be sandy or rocky. About 1/5 of all deserts are sandy. Over many years, the wind and other elements wear away the broken and break down rocks into tiny grains of sand. Sandy deserts can look different. Some sandy deserts floors look like ripples in the water. And that's because the wind is blowing the sand. Others are rocky. Some are lumpy. And this is because the sand is blowing, but it's getting stuck on different things. So these ones are getting, this sand is getting stuck on these plants. So it's kind of lumpy. Or you can have these big dunes or like mountains of sand. This is kind of interesting. I think this is cool. So the wind is a big part of the desert. The wind blows a lot. And sometimes the wind is so strong that it can turn these rocks into different shapes. So these rocks are kind of like columns. This one has a hole in it. It's like an arc. This one is flat on the top. And this one, the rocks have kind of broken away a little bit. So there's a big canyon down here at the bottom. So they're high at the top, and then they all broke down. There's this big canyon. And every once in a while, the rain falls, but it falls fast and very quick. So these are some of the plants and animals that live in the desert. They can live in the desert because they've adapted to living in the hot, dry conditions. So this is a rattlesnake, a turtle, and a turtle can protect itself from the snakes and the birds by going into its shell. And its shell helps keep it cool and dry sometimes. And here's like a bobcat. And then these are some of the plants. Most of the plants are called succulents. And some of you might know succulents, like you might have some at your house. And cactuses. And a cactus is a succulent. These plants all take up rainwater just like the other ones, just like other plants through their roots. See, their roots are down in the sand. And they soak up the rainwater through their roots and store them in their stems or their leaves. I think this is kind of a cool plant. So this plant, it is a barrel cactus. So this is it before it rains. See how long and skinny it is? And then when it rains, it soaks up the water and it gets fat and it stores the water in the barrel. And as it uses it, it gets skinny again. And then when it rains, it soaks up the water and gets fat. And then it uses up the water and gets skinny. Isn't that kind of cool? Most cactus plants have thorns called spikes or spines. These protect the plants from hungry animals. Let's see. In some deserts, when it finally does rain, parts of the desert can be covered in desert flowers. They have grown from seeds that may have been lying there for many years. These seeds grow into plants when there is just the right amount of rain at the right time of the year. Desert flowers bloom for just a short time. Insects drink nectar from them. Pollination happens when insects spread the pollen from one flower to another. This process also allows the flowers to make new seeds that drop on the ground, and those seeds will grow and flower another time. Isn't that pretty? So every once in a while, you'll get some nice, pretty flowers with your cactuses. And sometimes there are flowers on the cactus. Oh, so nighttime in the desert can be kind of scary. Night is the time when most insects, birds, and other animals become active in the desert. The starlit sky is clear and the air is cooler, so it's a lot cooler at nighttime in the desert. During the day, it's so hot because the sun is out. The creatures begin to move about. A honeypot ant stores nectar in its body. That's this guy. It has a honeypot ant. See how the back is a little bit bigger? He's storing nectar from the flowers. See, this one's getting all the nectar out. A picante beetle creeps around the desert floor. Here's the beetle. Oh, I don't like these ones. A gold wheel spider folds up its legs and then can cartwheel down a sand dune to escape anything that bothers it. How funny is that? Oh my gosh. That is so funny. It can roll down the sand dunes to escape. A scorpion is busy hunting for insects and other small animals in the sand. It kills its food with a poisonous stinger on its tail. This is the scorpion. Lizards and snakes move along the desert floor. A gecko lizard flicks its sticky tongue to catch insects. Ooh, the fringe-toed lizard can dig itself into the sand for protection. That's this guy. He's digging. The horned lizard is covered with sharp points for protection. The Gila monster is a big poisonous lizard. So those are all these lizards right here. And here are some different snakes that live in the desert. Some desert snakes are dangerous. They hunt mice, lizards, birds, and other small animals. Some bite with a poisonous venom and swallow their prey. A sidewinder rattlesnake slithers sideways across the sand. Its body leaves wavy marks behind. The inland tapian is the most poisonous snake in the world. That's this guy. Yikes. Oh, and these are all the birds that live in the desert. So some of them, they dig holes, they peck holes in the cactuses, and they live in the cactuses. He's a type of woodpecker. And here's our roadrunner. He's really fast, and he has to be really fast because he doesn't fly, but the ground is really hot. So he runs really fast so that his feet don't get too hot. And here are some other desert creatures. I see some rabbits, some little mice, a kangaroo rat. He jumps. Fennec fox. We actually have a fennec fox at the zoo, at our zoo. And we have coyotes. A couple more animals. And some people actually do live in the desert. They often live in groups called tribes. Some tribes are nomadic, and this means that they move from one place to another, and they use camels to help them move. And they often live in tents. There they are riding their camels and moving around. And it's so windy and the sand is often blowing around, so they have to cover up their faces to protect so they don't get the sand in their nose and in their mouth. There you go. So there are some fun, interesting things about the desert. I know that was kind of a long book, so thanks for bearing with me. And we will read a couple other lighter, funnier books later this week. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you later. Bye.